watercolor carrots that, well, they're faux watercolor carrots that I made with kids markers. Um, so there is a link for these in the description box so that you can see exactly how I made these. We're going to use these, and then we're just going to do a little page in my journal. I think this is watercolor paper. I like to use a lot of watercolor. I also will use mixed media because the quote, it's funny, you know, I was thinking it's Easter, and well, coming up on Easter and spring, and my brain was saying carrots, right? I don't know why carrots can be just like the sweetest, cutest little things, right? And look at this guy. The watercolor just sort of kind of took off on its own. So is a little bent wonky carrot, and I put like a little heart on it. But you can, the video is linked in the description box so that you can see exactly how I made these. And you do not need to own any watercolor to do so. I urge you, if you can get even an inexpensive bit of watercolor, it's just worth it. Watercolor is very soothing, right? So this quote that keeps going through my mind is grow positive thoughts, right? Because we are our body, our mind, you know, we should speak better of ourselves. And I am like number one person who will speak well of everyone around me. But for some reason, it's hard for me to do that for myself. So I would love for you to be able to do this little project with me so you can go over and see how I made the carrots, but I'm just going to set them aside for now. I'm actually going to put this paper here. And you don't have to be an artist. This is kind of like work at your skill. Don't judge yourself. I'm just grabbing some Tombow. Use regular kids markers if that is what you have. So I'm going to grab a brown. I'm going to grab my orange. I just have a bunch of colors. You can use, like I said, kids markers work just as well. But I'm going to show you, this is kind of how I did the carrots. And I'm just going to do the same thing here. I'm going to actually draw like a little, either a basket or a pot, you know, because I figure you grow the carrots and then you go pick the carrots, put them in your basket or wherever, you know what I mean. Just painting a scene here. So I've got my pencil that needs a point. I'm going to kind of eyeball this a little bit. So I'm going to be putting the carrots in there. I want it to be able to fit it on my page. So I'm going to do almost like a pot. So a square, and believe me, this can be wonky. It doesn't need to be perfect. You can go straight at the bottom or you can curve it. So I'm going to move my carrots now. I'm going to draw a bigger upper rim and then a rim here. Okay, so I'm going to make this a little bit wider. And if you don't feel comfortable drawing the pot shape, draw a square. It's okay. Sprinkle this out into the universe for me if you like this type of project or know someone else who does. This is just a little something that I like to do. Not everything we do has to be art that's going to show up in, you know, the museums up in the big city. Art is to make us happy. So I want you to do one thing for me right now and promise that you will not judge your artistic skill. You will not judge your lettering, and you will not compare yourself to others because that will get us nowhere. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take this brown, a dark brown, and I'm going to outline. I'm just going to go here and outline the whole outside of my pot. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'm just going around and outlining. I'm going to make down here a little bit thicker. I'm just going to do a couple swipes over with my marker and maybe just one here. We're going to dry this probably a little bit frequently, but I think I'm going to come in now with orange, and I'm going to run that orange kind of right next to my brown. I'm just going to color in some orange. There we go. I'm keeping it all around the edge because I like that faux watercolor look. So now I'm going to take paintbrush, just a regular old paintbrush, and some water. I'm dipping my brush in the water. I have lots of water on this. I'm going to start kind of in the middle and wet this part of my pot. Good bit of water. And then I'm going to start bringing that brush up and just going over the marker. So I'm going to wet that marker. I could pick up more water, but I want to wet all of those areas that I just put the ink of the marker on, because that is going to turn that water-based ink into watercolor, right? So and then I'm going to work that sort of to the center of the pot. See how it's just going to start, it's going to hit that water and do what watercolor does. So I want to coax that to come towards the center. I can leave a spot with more of the white of the paper showing through. I can come back and I can soften these edges a bit with more water. I just love to watch the way watercolor moves. I find it very soothing. It's very calming for me. I love to watch how the ink reacts, and I love these little blooms. Like if you can see here, the way that color is kind of blooming. I love these sorts of things. It gives the project character, right? So there's nothing hard here. So I'm going to hit this really quickly with my heat gun. You know, with any sort of water project or paint, we have to let it dry, or we're going to make it dry. So I'm just going to make this dry really quickly with my heat tool. Not perfectly dry. I just want enough that I can work with the piece, right? And this is fairly simple. You can get markers down at the dollar store, for goodness sake. You can get an orange and a brown in there, a little cheap paintbrush and some water. Don't let lack of supplies keep you from being creative. See, I love how you get these different effects. That just, to me, it makes it look more like the pot that you would plant the carrots in outside. So we could do this project one of two ways. We could do plant positive thoughts or grow positive thoughts. I think they both sort of mean the same thing. Now that it's dry, I'm just going to come in here again, and with my brown marker, you know how this is the top of the pot? I just want to come along and put just a little line here. I can darken any spots that maybe I want a little bit darker. So I'm just putting that line, and I'm just going to come in again with my water brush. I'm not going to do the whole thing. I'm just going to run that water right over that marker line and blend it out just a little bit. I'm just going to pull it down just a little bit into the painting, and that'll just soften that harsh line, and I can just soften that a bit too, right? So we're going to let that dry. How is everyone today? Let me know if you pop on, if you're here watching, or if you're catching the replay. If you're new here, I am Kimberly of Lolly Doodle Studios. I love to just jump right into my projects and sometimes forget to introduce myself. So I apologize for that. If you're new here, welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm going to grab one little thing out of my stash. Hopefully I can find what I'm looking for. And if not, we're going to just move on without it. I think. Yeah, here they are. So like I said, this is a bit of a mixed media project. I love junk journaling. I just don't feel like I'm real great at it. I love to do the artsy lettering parts of it. Um, but I stress way too much over the little bits and the ribbons and things. So this is my way of dabbling into that junk journal aspect of creating, right? So this is exactly how I did the carrots, and then I'm going to do the same thing with my pot. You might be wondering why I'm using another piece of paper when I'm putting it in my journal. And this is why, because then I'm going to take my scissors. This is fairly dry. And I am just going to come in and create kind of like a faux sticker or a faux journaling photo, as if I cut this out of a magazine or a sticker. So I'm going to go around my drawing. I'm not cutting all the way up to the pot or the color. I want that white bit around the edge. And I'm going to round all my corners. And look, I'm being as wonky as I want to be. Does not have to be perfect. There's no room for perfection in creating here, right? So if you're worried about having to be perfect, just check that at the door and come on in and create with me. All right, so I'm just going to come around and just finish this off. I just love this look. It's like a faux sticker, right? So no sharp edges. That I just don't like sharp edges. If you like sharp edges, go for it. So here I have my little pot painted, faux watercolor painted and cut out. I'm going to put it, let's see, and then of course we're going to grow carrots. So we're going to be putting them in there. We're going to grow our positive thoughts. Our carrots are our positive thoughts. Move this down. So there's my pot. If you see here, I love this look of almost like they outlined in black, but it's very wonky. There's nothing perfect about it. So I'll show you really quickly how I most of the time do that. And let me just find a gel pen. So I will grab, this is the glaze. And if you can see here, this is like my favorite black. I need to order some more. Like this is almost gone. I love the glaze. It looks wet and shiny, almost three-dimensional when it's dry. These are just my favorite. I love these things. So I'm going to put my little carrots up a little, and I'm sorry that the camera keeps going blurry. I like to hold my pen towards the top. You know, usually when you're writing or you're lettering, you're down here. You've got good control of your pen. When I'm doing an outline, I usually like to hold it more to the top so that I don't have control over the marker as well as usual, right? So this is a great practice, just like with watercolor, let go of control, right? Just like life, we can only control so much, and just learn to love the imperfections. So then what I do, I like to just then go around my drawing. And if you look closely, I'm not staying within the lines. I'm not staying exactly where I drew every detail of the pot. And I'm just going to outline that. I can stop every here and there, just like I did on the carrots, and maybe add a couple lines, like a little hashtag line. And then I'm just going to finish coming around and doing that. Maybe I'll add another hashtag line there. Okay. It just gives it something. It's like a sweet, to me, illustration, like a child's illustration look. And I can come around here and wiggle a bit. I've been known to do 2-3 passes of the pen and get those messy lines in there. Life is messy. Art can be messy, but it can still be beautiful, right? So I'm just going to come and finish that. I'm going to do about 3 passes. And each line is different. They're crossing over each other. Nothing perfect about it. So that's what my little pot looks like. Nice and dry. I'm going to let the black of the pen dry. I'm really loving like three-dimensional look lately. I don't know why. It could be the whole junk journal thing has just won over my heart, right? So I'm going to flip this, and I have a tape runner, but you can use glue. I'm going to use the tape runner just for the sake of time, so you guys don't have to watch glue dry. So I'm going to run a line of glue up the top, across the bottom, and right down the other side. I'm not going to run it across the top. I'm just going to pick it up, figure out where I want it here. I want to make sure I have enough room for my carrots to clear the top of the page. All right, I'm going to put it, let's see. I'm stressing about where to put a pot. So I'm just going to drop the pot right there. Okay, looks cute. Looks cute, right? So now I'm going to come in and we're going to letter. We're going to keep the lettering somewhat simple. We're going to mix between print, and we're going to choose one word, which is going to be the grow for me to do in a brush lettering way. But I do like to come in with pencil when I'm planning these things out. So I'm going to come in here with my pencil, and I am just going to map out with my lettering. You can use your hand lettering. You can learn more about brush lettering. So I'm going to write positive. Okay. And don't judge, don't compare yours to mine. We don't want to do that. So I'm going to work on this letter first. I'm going to grab my brush pen. And if you'd like to learn a little more on brush lettering, the basics are any strokes that go upwards are thin. Any strokes that come downwards are thick. That is created by pressure and release of the pressure on your marker. I've also linked my workbook in the description box, right? So I'm just going to come in. I've already penciled this out, and I'm a lefty. I do ask, if you're watching, let me know in the comments. I am looking for my other lefties. I love all you right-handed people, and I want you to stay. I'm just looking for my other lefties, so let me know you're here. I want to know what hand you write with. Drop an L if you're lefty. Please put an R in the comments if you're right-handed. Okay. So then I'm going to come down and press. When I come up, I'm coming up on the tip of my pen, pressing around, over, and into my next letter. Down is thick, lifting up, over, press, lift. So press is where my thick strokes are going. Okay. So I'm going to do my S. Thank you, Lex. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good morning, everyone. Please say hi when you pop in. If I don't catch your comment, I will go back and read it and respond. And if you have questions, please let me know so I can better serve you in the future. But this is just a little bit of quote journaling that I like to do from time to time. So I'm going to just do positive. So and then I'm going to print grow. So I'm going to fit grow here, grow, positive, and then thoughts. Thank you, Lexi. Up. I'm just going to thicken parts of even my printed words. And I want you to see here that this does not have to be perfect. I want you to leave perfection at the door and just have fun. grow positive thoughts. T H O. I'm doing this wonky on purpose. I don't want any perfection here, okay? THOUGHTS. Grow positive thoughts. I can thicken up some of the words that I've just put in there if I want. Right? I could have done this in a different color. I could have done this in any color. So let's see. Okay. So grow positive thoughts. And then my positive thoughts are my little carrots. So it's just a little something. What are some positive thoughts that we can think? We can grow and cultivate about ourselves, right? Because we are who we say we are. I was going to use the little fasteners, but I don't think it needs it. I don't think it needs it. So we're just going to keep on going. And the little carrots again, there is a link to the video to make the little carrots. We made the carrots in the same way that we made the pot here. So my positive thoughts going in here. So, I'm worthy. I am talented. I am nice. And I am caring of others, right? You can fill your pot up with as many positive thoughts as you want, right? So I'm going to just finish this off real quick. Let's see. I'm going to finish this off really quickly. You can keep going with this. You can leave it where it's at. I think this is adorable. I am going to come and just draw a little wonky green line down at the bottom. Okay, and maybe just some tall, almost little pointy triangles. So I'm going to take my water on my brush and I'm going to run it right down there along that green marker line. Right, so Tombow's children's markers. I love pipsqueaks. I think the pipsqueaks are what I used in the video to make the carrots, right? So Crayola, not sponsored, just saying, dollar store markers. You can use any of these things. If you do not have watercolor, if you don't have expensive Tombows, you can do this with what you have, right? Don't let lack of not having certain things keep you from creating. So I'm just going to wet these little, and they don't have to be perfect. I'm just running my brush over those little triangles that I made because we're just letting them make grass. Okay, just a little something. Leave perfection at the door, right? Growing positive thoughts, cultivating a better atmosphere for myself, a better thinking, and share that with you as we move along.